And it's time now for the WGNS Action Line. A special program today. Our county mayor, Joe Carr, is with us this morning. First of all, Joe, good morning to you, and a happy day after Christmas.
Well, good morning and happy day after Christmas to you and the listeners as well.
And people are concerned about your health after falling off the horse and breaking how many ribs?
So I didn't fall.
You didn't fall.
I was thrown.
Thrown, okay.
I don't fall. I only get thrown.
Okay, he was thrown off the
I was
horse.
thrown off the horse. It was rider error. This is a 3-4-year-old. I think I've shared with the listeners, 3-4-year-old filly. She is great. The horse is fine. The mare's recovering. 9 broken ribs.
Ooh.
Yeah, lacerated liver, punctured lung. You know, I learned something about that. It's a little thing called chest flail. I didn't know or flail chest. I didn't have any idea what it was, but it's when air gets between your diaphragm and your lung, and it pushes your internal organs over, and you literally can go into cardiac arrest.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I didn't realize.
I didn't either. And so when Dr. Sethi is telling me this is really serious, and I'm just kind of, it's broken ribs. That's all it is. He said, you don't understand. He said, it's not broken ribs. It's what those broken ribs are doing to your internal organs that is creating the problem. So I'm blessed. And, you know, this is a time of the year where we are fortunate to be here and to have loved ones around us. We live in a great community, Bart. We talk about that all the time. And so, yeah, despite my 9 broken ribs, I am a very blessed man and looking forward to 2026.
Before we jump into 2026, let's look at some of the things that were big in 2025. We've made a list of some of those things, and maybe you can talk about a few of these.
Sure. Be glad to.
Managing rapid growth, population growth here in Rutherford County. It doesn't take a genius to know that we are growing very quickly. We continue to be the fastest growing county in Tennessee.
We are, but a caveat to that is the population growth of the country and the state, and now the county is starting to slow a little bit. We're not seeing the birth rates like we historically seen. As a matter of fact, it's somewhat concerning. We're seeing historically low birth rates, and at this projection, our birth rate's not projected to replace the current population. So while there's not a concern locally, I think it's something we as leaders need to keep an eye on.
So the birth rate in the whole United States
and the state. So our rate of growth is slowing. So we're still growing for sure, and we're still the fastest growing county in the state for sure. But that overall growth rate is slowing. So, and we've done a great job on catching up on our infrastructure needs in these past 3 years, and I'm sure we're going to talk about that.
So that's I had not heard that information. So the whole U.S.
Well, and not to be argumentative, but in a sense you did.
Right.
You know, because we'll get to this, I'm sure, later. Dr. Sullivan's proposing 2 new high schools in spite of the fact that we saw an actual reduction in the overall population year over year. I think of like 160 or something like that. And so that reflects that flattening of the growth rate. We're still growing quickly. We still have infrastructure needs, and it's something the leadership is constantly monitoring. But the overall growth rate of the country, the state, and the county is now slowing just a bit.
You hear old wives' tales about when you see growth rates with more males being born, that's a signature that are a significant that maybe we're headed into a war or things of that sort. I wonder what it means when you have a lower birth rate.
Well,
peace?
Hopefully. We always pray for peace, don't we, Bart?
Absolutely.
I don't know what that means anecdotally, but I would say, you know, the fact is the county over the last 3 years has done a really good job on catching up with the infrastructure needs that we have. And so, I mean, and again, we're going to go through some of that, but we still got some catching up to do because we're a county now of 400,000 or right at 400,000 people, the 4th largest county in the state. And of course, people want to live and move here, and we talk about it all the time because
how could you blame them?
We're here.
It's a wonderful place.
It is a great place, and I've been all over the world, and this is why I live here, because it's great.
Now, as you mentioned, on the county school students, we saw a reduction of 160 students this past year. which is not a huge amount.
No, but it's a flattening.
Right, right. It's a possible beginning of a trend. We don't know if it's a
Well,
trend or
and
not.
to that point, we monitor elementary school kids on the population count, middle school and high school. The elementary school population has been flattening. As a matter of fact, has gone down a little bit. Now, there are a lot of different reasons for that that don't translate into necessarily building new schools. But this is a trend that we think is going to relieve some of the pressure or the need to have to build a school every year.
So
hopefully
we're looking at some changes in that area.
Hopefully, yes, sir.
One thing that keeps coming up, and that is the cost of running the schools. Their budget also, I know last time they had to write a check out of their budget to cover some of these new schools that
charter schools.
The charter schools.
Yeah,
right?
that's state law. The county does not have an option there. So the county is subsidizing, absolutely, or the property taxpayers of Rutherford County are subsidizing the charter schools. They sure are.
So will that ever take away from the ability of the county schools, from public schools?
Well, it does in some respects, because it takes away the funding that we would necessarily put toward the public school children or population toward the charter school population. And some would argue, well, that is a public school. Well, not really. We don't have control over it. We don't have authority. We don't get to regulate. Not regulate. It's not the right word, but we don't get to supervise it. So in a sense, we don't. But we do fund it. So it's just one of those strange situations where I understand the need for providing options to parents so they can have other solutions available to their kids if they find themselves in a school zone that is not educating their child. I would also tell you that Rutherford County has an excellent, phenomenal track record with regard to student achievement and performance. And so I will put Rutherford County up against any county in the state in what we're able to work with regard to our financial resources and also the results in the form of academic achievement.
Here's a text from a listener who says, are the charter schools, is the money that is given to a parent who chooses to go to a charter school, is that money enough to pay for the full tuition
of the charter school?
Of the charter school.
I suspect not. That's where the county comes in. So the parent pays, and then the county pays, and of course, I believe, and I'm not sure exactly about the charter school model. You'd probably have to get Dr. Sullivan to come in and talk about that. But it's a complicated formula. But the Rutherford County taxpayer absolutely subsidizes the charter schools in Rutherford County.
So would that create more taxes for us, or more of a drain on the budget?
Let me just address the, quote, more taxes comment. Right now, there is no inclination, there is no thought to raising taxes in the coming budget year. As a matter of fact, Michael Smith and I, our budget director, finance director, does a great job. We have put together a plan that started 3 years ago, Bart, where if you remember, we raised property taxes when I first came into office because we had a $64 million deficit that we absolutely had to pay off. The credit card had gotten too big, and we were saddled with the task of paying the credit card off. Then we had to fund all the infrastructure that I'm sure we're going to talk about in a few minutes. But no, there is no anticipated property tax increase this year or even next year.
So it looks like that's going to be a level.
That is the position of the mayor.
Okay.
You'll have to ask the county commission about their position, and if we butt heads over this, which we could, then we just may have to. But it's anticipated and expected that we will not be raising property taxes this year and hopefully next year.
Now, another part of 2025 that has been very much in the news is PlanRutherford.
Right.
Tell us about that. Explain it for people who may not have kept up with it, and how's that standing?
In a nutshell, PlanRutherford is a 2-3 year project undertaken by the mayor's office and the county commission along with the planning commission to update our current plan. We have a 20-year plan that's in place, and it was time for us to update that 20-year plan and renew it. And so that has been like a 2-3 year effort. led by Chairman Jeff Phillips on the commission, Pettis Reed, the Planning Commission, and a number of stakeholders. We've had a lot of help from GNRC, which is the Greater Nashville Regional Council, Doug DeMasi, my planning director. So there have been a lot of people involved in the community with putting together this PlanRutherford document. And basically, it's just a planning document. All it is a planning document to guide the growth in Rutherford County, what those growth needs are, and then how we're going to pay for it. And where do we want that growth located so that the growth that we do have reflects what? The small town values and principles that you and I talk about that we're trying to hold on to. We understand that we're 400,000 people, but we don't have to lose, Bart, those things that got us here. Just because we're growing, and that's what we're trying to hold on to. So it's that mix that we're trying to retain.
Here's another question brought in by one of our listeners, and I'll try to paraphrase this. They're talking about the number of people, the large number who continue to come into the city and to the county, and they're saying that the city of Murfreesboro has pretty well slowed down the number of apartments being built for the whole area to accommodate the number of people who are coming into the area. Do you see an increase in the number of apartments that are to be built in the county?
Well, let's separate that. So Murfreesboro did put a zoning moratorium, a rezoning moratorium on multifamily units. Those parcels that were already rezoned multifamily, of course, could continue to move forward toward that development. What we have seen, though, is a shift from Murfreesboro multifamily units towards Smyrna and Laverne. And so we have seen a dramatic increase in the multifamily units developments in Smyrna and Laverne. And as you know, a multifamily goes vertical, not horizontal. So you can actually put more people per acre or per square mile. That creates density. That density creates challenges for what? Our infrastructure and our schools. So here we go again.
Back again.
Exactly. And so Murfreesboro has put a moratorium. I don't know if that moratorium on zoning is still in effect, but there has been it seems to me there's been a decided shift away from Murfreesboro apartment building more towards Smyrna and Laverne. And it's something we've got to monitor, because when you put people in apartments, that means we got to find infrastructure for them.
That's interesting, because that means that they're continuing to build in the municipalities, but not in the rural areas, which we would consider the county.
That's correct. And the reason for that is the cities provide the sewer and water services that they need. The county does not have a sewer service like Murfreesboro, Smyrna, and Laverne do. So the multifamily units need those city sewer services that the county just does not have to provide. So that's why.
That brings on the question of, will the county ever be in that business of providing sewer services?
You know, that
you're in the fire business and in the police business,
right? And so and we're in the solid waste business, and we're in the EMS business, and we're in the school business. We're in a lot of things. I do think there's going to come a time where the county is going to have to look at providing sewer services, and how do we actually do that? It's extremely expensive because of all the rock that we have. That infrastructure is very expensive. So it's not a decision I'll make today, but it's something that we are honestly keeping our eye on.
And this next question from a listener sort of sums that up and maybe brings it together. Is a metro form of government ever in our future?
Not as long as I'm mayor.
Okay.
and the answer is simple. The attractiveness of a metro government is the synergy that all the municipalities and the county can bring together without duplication of services. We've resolved a lot of that between the county and the city already. So there's not a lot more low-hanging fruit there. The other piece to that is I have real concern that watching Nashville do this, I have a real concern that when you have a single form of government across all the county, then what ends up happening is the flavor or the distinctness of the different communities in the county go away. And that's that is exactly what we're trying to keep in PlanRutherford. So in my mind, a metro form of government actually hurts what we're trying to put together in PlanRutherford. The community of Christiana and Fosterville and Lascassas and Milton and Almaville and Eagleville, Smyrna, Laverne, Murfreesboro, those are all distinct. They all have their own personality, their own characteristics. And I think it's good for the county as a whole if we, as much as we can, we try to maintain that. And I think a metro form of government would completely do away with all that uniqueness that we hold important.
And I think that pretty well studies show, at least through some classes at Leadership Rutherford, that every time a metro government is created, it hasn't been brought about usually to make things better. It's been brought about by a crisis, a financial crisis.
See, I did not realize that, and Rutherford County is a long way from a financial crisis. I love to brag about the county that I'm fortunate to be a mayor of because, as you know, in the last 3 years, we've attained something only 53 other counties in the entire nation have attained. Out of 3,100 counties, we're one of 54. And that is we have not one, not two, but 3 AAA bond ratings. So we financially, physically, we're in a phenomenal place, a place this county's never been in before. And so I'm guarding that. I'm being a steward of that because it's extremely important. And so,
Very
yeah,
definitely.
You know, we don't have a financial crisis that would motivate us toward a metro government, Bart.
So that would be a big plus.
Yes, sir.
For us in that area. We're going to pause for just a moment, and we'll come back. We're looking at 2025, and then a little bit later on in the program, we'll look ahead toward 2026 here in Rutherford County. Our County Mayor, Joe Carr, is with us this morning. Stay with us, and if you have a question, text it to us, 615-893-1450. That's it, 615-893-1450. We'll be right back.
The Braves, MTSU, local sports. Yeah, we got them. Your local sports connection is WGNS, AM, FM, online.
When we started our flagship restaurant on Broad Street, who would have known we'd have grown and touched each 4 corners of Rutherford County? Now we have locations in South Murfreesboro, Smyrna, West Murfreesboro, and the original on 860 Northwest Broad Street.
Swing by one of our 4 locations after a game for some good food and fun.
Thank you, Murfreesboro, Smyrna, and Rutherford County.
Thank you to our patrons and customers.
Thank you.
Good food and fun.
This message brought to you by the Central Tennessee Regional Solid Waste Planning Board. Visit RecycleRightTN.com for tips, ideas, and locations on where to recycle near you.
Don't be trashy, recycle classy, recycle right, Tennessee.
Recycling isn't just about tossing materials in a bin, it's about knowing which materials are accepted. Go to RecycleRightTN.com.
Recycle right, Tennessee.
Local farmers, local meats, vegetables, and other produce at the Winter Spring Rutherford County Farmers Market.
Bundle up and make your way every Friday at Lane Agri Park.
You know, gift cards are always the easiest gift. This is Peter Demas at Demas's Restaurant. We will buy gift cards and just kind of have them on hand. They're amazing gifts to give to teachers. If you want to give a gift at your workout groups, you have a personal trainer, family members. It's great to give gifts for 16, 17, 18 years old who are just now beginning to date, and they need to be able to have some place to take someone on a date to. Gift cards are always the easiest gift. Demas's Restaurant on Northwest Broad Street.
Rutherford Issues with Brian Barrett, hitting right at what matters most to all of us here in the heart of Tennessee. Weekday mornings at 10 on WGNS, AM, FM, and online.
Welcome back. If you want to text a question to us, 615-618-1450. Happy birthday to Trip Pack. Trip Pack gets that delicious banana pudding from our friends at the Slick Pig. Again, the number to call if you have a question for our county mayor or comment, 615-618-1450. One of the big things that's been in the news lately, and this is not the first time this has been in the news, seems to always come at a crucial time, the need for a new jail.
Oh,
I mean, I remember when the first one came, when it was over on West Main.
Yeah.
That one had to be closed down.
Yeah.
The federal government was suing us.
Yeah.
And we built this new one that was going to be the end all and be the phenomenal one. A few years after that one, we had to add on to it.
Exactly.
That's where we got the high rise.
The tower, absolutely.
And now the high rise is built in the wrong place and settling poorly.
Among other things. So we've got a jail that was built for $400, and we've done some moving around, rearranging of the deck chairs a bit.
Because how many are there now?
Over 1,000.
That's what I knew. It was over 800.
We're regularly over 1,000.
And built for 400.
Yes, and so we have a significant overcrowding situation, and we have a building, because of the overcrowding, the wear and tear on that building has aged it much, much faster than we anticipated when it was originally constructed. And so we also have it's built in a floodplain, Bart, and
we didn't have to be told that. We knew that all along.
We did, but again, these are the decisions that were made 50 years ago in the 80s that we're having to solve today.
But we knew it was a floodplain then.
But we did, Bart, and I can't tell you, Bart, why we ignored an engineering study and built it in floodplain, but we did. But what happens is that building literally has settled a foot, and it's created some structural problems.
Wow, settled a foot?
Settled a foot over time. Now, it's not like it's fixing to fall down. It's nothing like that. But what I am telling you is the overcrowding, where the building's located, the fact that it's 40, 50 years old, all of that has rapidly accelerated the aging of that facility. We have to build a new jail.
How much did we spend on that one?
Oh, Bart, I don't know.
Millions.
Oh, yeah, and we're talking an order of magnitude on that. So we have to build a jail, and we're talking probably around $400 million. The good news is, if Michael and I have positioned, our finance director, we have positioned the county to be in a place where we can build a jail, we believe, and we have to within the next 5 years. Come January 1, 2026, literally the Tennessee Corrections Institute puts us on the clock because of the overcrowding. So we have 5 years from January 1, 2026 to come up and implement a plan.
When you say implement a plan, that doesn't mean have it ready for you to walk into.
We think that's exactly what it means.
Uh-oh.
Yes, sir. But it's not honestly, Bart, that's a good thing because it gives us a timeline to solve the problem.
Well, you need some time to build it, too.
We do need time to build it. But if we have 5 years to come up with a plan, design the plan, construct the plan, and then move in, that is time. But we don't have
5 years total.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, 5 years total. But we got to move, and we've done a lot. We've already done a tremendous amount of groundwork in the last year. Pettis Reed, Trey Gooch, and Laura Davidson, commissioners on the county commission, have been a part of this working group, along with Tennessee Corrections Institute, the Sheriff's Department. We've had various departments in a lot of different departments are involved in the finance department has been very involved because we got to pay for this. So how do we pay for a $400 million jail? Well, we're going to do it without raising property taxes. And we have been taking care of our financial situation. The issue is, though, we have Dr. Sullivan coming to the county commission saying, I need 2 new high schools, one out at Plainview and one over off Lee Road, I believe is what it is, in Almville. And those 2 high schools are going to cost the county in the neighborhood of about $320, $350 million, in that range.
Close to the cost of a jail.
Yes. So, and we just spent almost $400 million in the last 3 years on schools. We have 4 renovations to Riverdale, Oakland, Smyrna, Laverne. We built a new Poplar Hill elementary school, and we're completing rapidly a Poplar Hill middle school. So 6 major projects for the Rutherford County school system, totaling anywhere between $350 and $400 million. We have other infrastructure needs in the county that need to be addressed. So we're going to have to look at the county commission and the mayor's office, and all interested parties are going to have to look at prioritizing. But there's no question that come January 1, 2026, the county's going to be on the clock for how we're going to solve for the problem of our existing jail facilities.
Now, obviously, you need land that's not in a floodplain. You need
it would
land
help.
that's
That's a plus. We like to build where it's not in the floodplain. Just
well, that's obviously a new trend because it wasn't going on back when they built this one.
Well, maybe we need a resolution. I don't know.
So
a little humor there.
Now that you've been looking at this and you've had people, Pettis Reed, some others looking at. What areas are you looking at?
Well, we can't say, obviously. Obviously, we're looking at anything that would, we're looking at areas in the county that would help us reduce the operating cost of operating a jail. What would that be? I mean, other than not being in a floodplain. Well, it just depends on what the proximity to, like the courthouse, the judicial center. Excuse me, not the Rutherford County.
The closer, the better.
Yeah. So, and where is it located as it relates to the rest of the county? You know, these are the parts where the sheriff's department, Sheriff Fitzhugh's done a real good job at explaining to the study group how they operate, so we can achieve some operational savings when we make this big investment. But I want your listeners, I'm going to say this over and over and over again. We can do this, and we will do this without raising property taxes.
More than likely, this needs to be in the city limits of Murfreesboro, it sounds like, if you're going to be close to the courthouse.
Or potentially Smyrna.
But there's courthouses in Murfreesboro. They just built it.
Well, exactly. Building. But there are a lot of criteria, not just being close to the judicial center, but there are a lot of criteria that go into this selection process. And I want to be careful because, we're looking for land, but I want to be careful about giving too much away. But because as soon as it's out that the county is looking for land in a particular part of the county, the speculators run in and they run up the price. So I have to be careful about sharing too much information.
Right.
But we do have some parcels picked out, and we are moving toward doing something. We have some existing land. We're just not sure. The county does. We're just not sure that it meets the need that we're looking for.
Now, you don't have any use, obviously, for the high-rise jail, but you might find some use for the low-rise jail and things like that. What can you use for that old property? I mean, that's surplus property then, but we're bound to have a need.
We would have a need. So obviously, if we were to find the property, purchase the property, design, engineer, and construct a new facility, and then move everybody out of that facility into the new facility, then obviously we have the decision to make. What are we going to do with the old building? And we just would need to look at that and find out what is best for the county with regard to that property and that facility. Does it mean destroying it and hauling it off, or does it mean selling it, or do we have a need for it within the county? At this point, it's too early to say.
So that's a 2025, 2026 issue. Another 25-26 issue is the Bank of America.
Yeah.
And how is that? Is it all clear?
The county commission, by a vote of 20-1, voted to proceed with the purchase, and I signed the contract the following day. As per the instructions in the resolution. It doesn't, as we continue, we're still doing our due diligence, so we still have a clause that allows us to back out in the agreement, but everything is moving very well in that direction.
When do you think, will there need to be a total renovation of the building for offices?
So we're getting, our architect is right now programming and designing the renovation and the various options with renovation. He seems to think renovation on the ground floor, floor one, would be potentially minimal. But there are some mechanical upgrades we need to do to the building. We need to replace the boiler. The roof's in good shape, but we need to replace those stone gravel panels that are outside the building. Those probably need to go. Do we want to enclose the portico to give us more square footage? Do we want to do that? So right now, our architect, Bart Klein and Associates, is looking at all these options, and he will bring a couple of 3 different options to the mayor and the county commission for us to decide, and then we will move forward.
How long do you think that will take? In other words, how long will some of these offices who are already cramped for space and also in space in the old Goldstein's building?
The Goldstein building is a problem. If it were a private entity, we wouldn't approve for anybody to be working in there. So our first priority is to get the people out of Goldstein. That would be the departments of election, commission, and department director is Alan Farley. We have planning, which is Doug DeMasi, engineering, which is Mike Hughes, and Tanya Bell, who is the director over code. So we have all those departments that need to go into the BOA, and that's the first priority.
And that sounds like that's going to be a year away.
Yes.
So it's not a quick fix.
No, it's not a quick fix, but we want to do it right. But we're trying. We're in a race against the clock because of the roof and the HVAC systems in Goldstein. According to Adam Don, my maintenance director, we can anticipate them starting to let go in a couple of years. So we're in a race against that clock. It seems like we're always in a race against the clock around here. So.
It does.
Well, that's what happens, Bart, when you get behind on infrastructure. And I understand why we couldn't in the previous administration with COVID and the administration before that, because the revenue wasn't there and because of the recession. So we've come during the Burgess years. Ernest did a phenomenal job as mayor for this county, navigating the financial challenges that we had with an economy that wasn't growing yet. We've got to take care of the infrastructure needs of the county. He did a phenomenal job. Bill Ketchum did a good job managing the crisis through COVID. I still marvel at the decisions he made that were excruciatingly tough. And quite honestly, in some cases, no decision. I mean, there was no good decision to be made, but you had to make one. So we come out of all of that, and then so we have all these infrastructure needs, we have all this growth, and fortunately, we've been able to address a lot of those infrastructure needs, like I talked about with the schools, the transfer station, the forensic center, recovery court. We've done a lot in 3 years that has gotten us out of this hole of infrastructure, but we still got some work to do.
Okay, so the new jail which is the first time we've heard about a new jail. It's on the horizon.
Yes, sir. We suspect that it is.
Within 5 years.
Yeah, again, that's a decision the county's commission's going to have to make about whether or not to fund it. But if they don't fund it, they're also going to have to make the decision on what are they going to do when the Tennessee Corrections Institute does not certify us, so we lose our state certification. That become a real problem. So we've got a difficult choice to make, but we're trying to give the county commission good options.
We will be back in just a moment. Don't go away.
This is Chip Walters, and I'll have Middle Tennessee football and basketball games for you right here.
MTSU Sports on WGNS AM, FM, online.
As attic insulation, I can just lie around.
Yeah, and you save homeowners up to 30% on their heating bills. Still, you need some exercise.
But I'm saving them hundreds of dollars.
2 words, jumping jacks.
No way, bud. I need some rest. Could you fluff my pillow?
Call Roscoe Brown Heating and Air to get your home's insulation in shape.
Oh, and pass the Cheetos.
RoscoeBrown.com. Give us a call.
Roscoe Brown. RoscoeBrown.com.
Stones River Manor offers assured care.
It's so warm and welcoming.
Independent living.
What states have you lived in?
Lived in Illinois and here. My husband worked for Quick Growth.
Assisted living.
I have my own place and I love it. The activity center has the Bible study that I like very much.
Adult daycare and respite care, and specialized physical rehabilitation care.
I love the friendliness and the family attitude that they have here.
Visit them online at stonesrivermanor.com or stop by. They're near the intersection of Haynes Drive and Memorial Boulevard.
Hi, this is Tina Fox at the Rutherford Farmers Co-op. If you're looking for that unique gift for Christmas, please come see us for all your holiday needs. We have a great selection of gift items for the young and old, and also for your feathered or furry friends. So come see us. The Rutherford Farmers Co-op. In our toy department, we have our Melissa and Doug toys, Ertl toys, Big Country, and Schleich animals. The Rutherford Farmers Co-op, 985 Middle Tennessee Boulevard, just off of South Church.
Friends? Yes.
The financial partners whom you've built a relationship with at Old National Bank are still at the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard location, right here in the borough. And so are the warm, homemade cookies.
Cookies are ready, dear.
Like Grandma used to make. If you need online and mobile banking, Murfreesboro's Old National Bank does that too. You and Old National Bank, better together.
Old National Bank at 2230 Dr. MLK Jr. Boulevard. Old National Bank, member FDIC.
Few spotty rain showers possible late this afternoon with cloudy skies, a high in the low 70s. Then tonight, cloudy, a low near 58. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki from the WGNS Rutherford Weather Center.
Currently, it's 64.
We're News Radio WGNS 100.5, 101.9, 1450. Online and on your phone at WGNSradio.com.
We're in the final segment of our broadcast. County Mayor Joe Carr is our guest this morning. We're looking at 2025 and looking ahead also at 2026, the new year, which is just days away.
Days away. Do you have a New Year's resolution?
To be an even better radio station, because the new year brings our 79th anniversary.
Wow.
January 1st.
Happy birthday, WGNS.
You
That's
don't have
great
to send
news.
a present, though.
Huh?
You don't have to send a present.
Okay, that's good. Because after Christmas, Bart, I'm financially tapped out. That, and I got property taxes I got to pay next week. I got to go see Teb and give him a big check. So let me tell you something. I'm glad you let me off the hook.
That's right.
By the way, you didn't ask about the bees, Bart.
Well, I didn't know whether.
Yeah, Bart. I mean, that's kind of like a staple of the show, isn't it? The bees.
It is a staple.
I mean, that's why I'm waiting, and we're almost out of time.
I'm wondering when are the bees going to be buzzing again? Because they don't.
So this weather, they get out and they clean.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, they get out when it's like 60 degrees or better. They're out flying around, and they're cleaning out the hive, because when they get locked up during cold or wet weather, they dirty up the hive. It's kind of like you and I in the house. We don't get out of the house.
That's right.
Mama throws us out of the house, so she clean the house, right? Well, that's what happens with bees. So they've been out doing fly
around.
They're kind of flying around a little bit, getting some exercise. And I will be in the hives today treating for varroa, which is the #1 pest for bees. And as a matter of fact, they'll kill whole hives. So you have to treat for varroa. And so I'm going to be treating them with some vaporized oxalic acid. So
will the beekeepers meeting still be held on the
once
first
a month.
Monday?
Yeah, and Keith Elrod and his wife Robin do a fantastic job. And of course, you know Zane Cantrell.
Oh, yeah.
He's always over there harassing people, and Zane's a great guy. What a treasure for this county Zane Cantrell is.
Very definitely. Well, let's wrap up this look at the old year and bringing in the new year. What do you think is the biggest challenge for the new year?
For the county?
For the county.
Determining which path we're going to go down. Are we going to build are we going to commit the funds to build 2 new high schools, or are we going to commit the funds to build a new jail?
It's a choice.
That's a choice. Now, we can do one or the other.
We can't
without
do both?
without raising property taxes. We can do one or the other without raising property taxes, but we can't do both. And I'm not going to raise property taxes. I won't. I will tell you, if the county votes to raise the county commission votes to raise property taxes, well, then I'll veto it, and they can override the veto. We don't need to. The county's in great shape. We've got good cash flow. We got 3 AAA bond ratings. We've got the strongest savings account that we've ever had. There is no reason, if we are disciplined, why we have to do that. Having said that, we can't fund the borrowing for a jail and for 2 new high schools. We just can't do it, and we've got to make a choice. And so I'm anxious. I was sorry that Dr. Sullivan and the school board didn't come to me and tell me their plan before they went to the county commission on their joint meeting with budget and health and ed. But that's their prerogative, and if they felt like my input wasn't necessary, I'm neither offended, but I was a little disappointed, because it would be helpful if we were on the same page.
On our final note, what about the Forensic Center? How is that going?
I was by there a couple of days ago. They will have it dried in, and if you don't know, if your listeners don't know what dried in means, it means basically we got a roof and walls on it, and we will be dried in probably here in about 2 to 3 weeks.
Dried in with concrete and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, we've already got steel up. We got the roof going on. We got the We got the exterior walls going up. So it is going very well. And again, another project that's going to come in budget and on time for the county. So we're excited about that. And we expect to be operational before the end of 2026.
So you'll have the first autopsy before then?
Well, we're not sure we're going to get the first autopsy. We'll be moved in by the first of 2027, we expect, unless there's some kind of delay or unforeseen circumstance, which you obviously can't predict. But no, we're on schedule. We're under budget. It's going great.
And for the other facilities that you're building, other fire department locations?
So we just moved into Plainview. I think we talked about that last time. I was a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
We moved into Plainview.
Right.
We just hired those firefighters. We're finishing off our recovery court renovation. We just awarded a $140,000 contract for replacing of the HVAC equipment and the ductwork for recovery court, which is great. The transfer station is going extremely well and blowing everybody's expectations away except for mine. I absolutely knew this was going to be a great source of revenue for the county, and right now we're bringing in $90,000 to $100,000 of profit back to the county and saving the local independent trash haulers a lot of money. So it's a really good situation, and we're excited for the closure of Middle Point Landfill, hopefully sooner than later.
Do you have a final thought that as we approach the new year that you'd like to share?
Just that, it's a blessing to live and work here. I would be remiss if I didn't thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for giving me the opportunity to do this. He is the reason for this season, and I just want to thank the listeners for letting me be their mayor. And we'll see how the new year goes, but it's an exciting time to live in Rutherford County.
Rutherford County Mayor Joe Carr, our guest on this day after Christmas.
Amen.
Joe, thank you for joining us.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Very much to you and your family as well.